you know. So we'll see how it goes from there. Um, Moving on with Vice President Harris. So she's picked her VP for running mate. It's a guy named Tim Walz. I'm sure you guys have heard stuff about him. Interesting guy. He was a school teacher. His wife was also a school teacher, high school teacher. So one of your colleagues. He was in the National Guard for like 24 years. You retire typically after 20, but he stayed an extra 4. He had the highest enlisted rank you could have, non-commissioned officer rank. And let's see, he was a gun owner, very big into gun rights until after, I think it was the Parkland shooting. And then he jumped into it's like, okay, I'm still for owning guns, but we got to have background checks and safety laws and registration. All the stuff that like 70% of America is already on board with. So he went from being a plus NRA, getting an A plus from the NRA, to now he gets an F. Right. So he's changeable. Minnesota, he also passed. Minnesota's one of the only states that has free breakfast and lunch for all children who go to public school. He passed that. What was the one of the... Oh, they were attacking him for this. This one I thought was funny. They're calling him Tampon Tim because he signed a bill that was passed that puts tampons in the public restrooms in public schools. But it puts them in both the boys and the girls' room in case there's a transgender boy who needs a tampon.
Okay.
And so the Republicans were all upset about that. And
yeah, I saw this, funny meme. Somebody, complaining about their 11-year-old boy having tampons in the bathroom at school, and somebody's response to it is, well, my 11-year-old boy has tampons in their bathroom at home and they're just fine.
Right. Right. Well, the other thing about it is,
yeah,
once again, I mean, the whole making fun of them for being weird, which we'll do some more today, because we've been doing it forever now, and now that it's a meme, yay for us. But if you think tampons are a sexual thing, you're pretty fucked up. That's weird.
That is weird.
Yeah, if that's a sexual thing for you, then you got something weird's going on there. You need to explain that where like it's a sexual thing where like I can't have my son see a tampon. Kind of thing.
Right? Like what are you worried about happening if your son sees a tampon? And how is it possible your son never has seen a tampon if they share a bathroom with you?
Right. Well, and I can tell you...
Oh, right?
Yeah. Well, I can tell you this. As a boy who went to public school, if there's tampons in the boys' room, there's one of two things are going to happen. Best case scenario, unlikely, but still the best case scenario, there happens to be a transgender boy at the school who just happens to have their period and needs a tampon. That's the best case scenario. Worst case scenario, me and a bunch of guys are going to get in a tampon fight in the bathroom, which for me is still the best case scenario. But that's the worst things that are going to happen here. That's all that can happen. What do you think is going to happen?
Or the third thing, absolutely nothing happens. People keep walking by that thing and it's still loaded full of tampons.
Yeah. Probably because most of the guys are like, what the fuck? I don't know what that is. I'm not putting a quarter in there.
I'm not wasting my quarter on that.
But anyway, Tim Walz, they've been trying to attack him. Trying. They can't get anything. Him and Kamal, they've been throwing stuff at the wall, nothing sticks. And it's just been kind of embarrassing. And so we're going to go over some of this. But here's, I pulled this from the Majority Report because I love Sam Cedar. So he's doing this and he's talking about they're having a really hard time attacking Tim Walz. And I'll get into a little bit why I think that is. It's funny, but watch this.
Eyeliner Peter Thiel guy, that one?
This is the guy who, this guy who, whose boss believes that women shouldn't have the right to vote because it turns everything into socialism is telling
He's talking about J.D. Vance, who's Trump's VP pick.
us this guy is an extremist.
Yeah, people in middle America love guys who shine Peter Thiel's shoes.
All right, let's play this. Go back to this Fox thing. Amazing.
Mcenany now joins us in studio, and good morning to you. Already Republicans are saying this is the most extreme ticket in political history. What's your take on Tim Walz on the undercard now?
This is a stunning choice. I imagine there's a lot of cheering at Mar-a-Lago at the moment. Look, Tim Walz, he's no one to scoff at. He unseated a six-term Republican in Congress. He won a conservative district. He began as a moderate, and then he had a radical transformation as soon as he got a trifecta in Minnesota. I think it is fair to call him a progressive in sheep's clothing. When you look at his record over the last few years, what you see are transgender surgeries for minors, carbon electrical grid.
Okay, first off, they're not doing transgender surgeries for minors. They're doing transgender treatment for kids with gender dysphoria, but that's pretty normal. And it's usually like puberty blockers, which you can reverse at any time. They don't hurt anybody. We used to use originally puberty blockers for people with brain issues because they didn't want them to go through puberty too quickly until they were a little bit more developed. Otherwise, they'd have severe problems later on. Then they just started using it for transgender people later on for gender dysphoria because we want to wait until they're old enough that we can get a solid psychological analysis between multiple psychologists before we decide if we're going to transition them. They really should, we should have a solid idea that that's where they want to go. That's why they do it. But that's pretty much all they're doing at that age. And then maybe they'll put them on like estrogen or testosterone, depending. Right, but that's all. They don't do surgeries until you're at least 18.
I was going to say, I don't think I've ever heard of a surgery being performed on a minor for that.
No, and even then,
I don't know.
Even then, from what I read, you have to be an adult, so you have to be 18 before you can agree to that, before a doctor will agree to it, right? And even then, a lot of doctors recommend you wait till you're like 22 or 23 till you're fully developed. Right? Because your brain doesn't totally fuse till you're like, 23 or 24. But they want you to be sort of fully developed before they go into that, right? But they'll do it at 18 because you're an adult, right? If somebody really wants to do it. But yeah, nobody's doing it. So this whole, that transgender, that's all bullshit. Kayleigh Mcenany just lies. So
it's funny to me that they're being like, oh my God, he's so extreme. But actually, he's really not very extreme.
No, I'm letting doctors make decisions for their patients. That's what she essentially just said. Super extreme.
By 2040, driver's licenses for illegal immigrants. In function, his abortion policy allows abortion until birth. These are policies that are far to the left.
Okay. It's also
abortion at birth? Oh my goodness.
So driver's license for undocumented immigrants. Part of that is this. In certain states, it's one of those things where, like, if they're working and they're immigrants, even if they're undocumented, they're paying Social Security, they're paying taxes. And so they have to get to and from work. And a lot of the businesses there need those people to do those jobs. And especially, and let's point this out real quick, and we might get into this a little later. You're from the Midwest, Lacey, the northern Midwest. Did you know that North Dakota housed one of the first mosques and has a huge Muslim population? You know why? Because they let those people in because those towns were dying. And had they not got a ton of people from the Middle East to move there, a lot of those towns would be gone and their economies would be ruined. They'd be bankrupt. So a lot of immigration in the Midwest in areas like North Dakota and Minnesota. So yeah, I can see the benefit of allowing some undocumented immigrants to have driver's licenses, probably because they have family there.
Right.
Or they're working on getting registered or getting things fixed. They're just currently undocumented at the moment.
Right.
So, I mean, just stupid shit. She doesn't, it's all lies. It's Kayleigh Mcenany, so of course she lies.
Or it's misrepresentations,
Yeah.
Where they tell you like a 10% slice of what the story on something is to make it sound extreme,
Right. Yeah, she's just full of shit.
of America. And as John McCormick at the Wall Street Journal pointed out,
That is just
Kamala Harris has to do the
amazing. Like, first off, I love the idea that you're a progressive in sheep's clothing, like as if the sheep is a compliment here in this instance.
That's a kind of a good point.
Right.
So what you're saying is you guys are the sheep. The conservatives are the sheep, and the progressive is tricking them by pretending to be a sheep. The problem with him is, I can tell you right now, the Democrats have needed him for a while. He's less charming, but he's still a charming, fun guy. But he's basically Bill Clinton. He's a white guy from the Midwest who talks really plainly, and he's better than Bill Clinton because he's not Ivy League educated like Bill Clinton.
Right.
He's a public school teacher. He's a regular guy. And the Republicans always say, we're populists. We're here for the white working class guys. Here is a white working class guy.
Here's one of them. Yeah.
Who talks like it. And furthermore, he is a huge union supporter. He's really big on labor. And he's big on growing business, which is why Minnesota is like 4th or 5th or 6th, something like that, of the best states in the country to start a business or to move your business to. They have a lot of big companies in Minnesota. So you can't, I don't know what they're talking. They're just talking horseshit. So they got nothing on this guy. They really do. It's going to be funny to watch him struggle to try and find something. They're just going to bullshit back and forth. But yeah, it's just funny stuff. I wanted to here's a clip from Jesse Waters on Fox News. And I think this is the Fox 5 or whatever, and they're bitching about this now. They're trying to find something to stick him down. So you got 5 of them at a table. They've had all day to prep. They've got dozens of writers and producers and the whole staff, and they've got all this resources and time and money. What did they come up with to attack Tim Walz on? There's got to be something. Here it is.
See, will some of those words come back to haunt this ticket?
Kamala Harris choked. She chose Bernie Sanders. This is Bernie Sanders right here. The squad loves this guy. Loves him. You see pictures, they're like almost undressing together.
What?
And she managed to pick someone who looks older than Biden. I would have gone with the younger guy.
FYI, this is not Tim Walz that we're looking at in the screen next to him. This is somebody else.
That's not even him.
Yeah.
But who knows if this was even her choice. Eric Holder was running the vetting op.
That's Tim Walz.
He chose him, probably. He's Obama's wingman. He probably was like, Kamala, you're picking Walz. Let's just lose this and get on to 28.
Well, that doesn't make any sense. Eric Holder, who was with Obama, and he's saying Eric Holder picked him because he's a socialist in sheep's clothing or whatever the fuck their bitch is. He's Bernie Sanders. I don't know about that, but okay. I wish you'd pick Bernie Sanders, but what we can only get what we can get. But she picked this guy, and it was Eric Holder, who worked for Obama, because it's part of this Obama, because Obama was a socialist. But who did Obama pick to be his vice president?
Biden.
A conservative Democrat who got all of his money from the credit card companies. A guy who voted against the school busing thing for black kids because he wanted to cut a deal with the racists. Biden. Now, Biden currently has been the most progressive president in the history of this country. But that wasn't his history. And when Obama picked him, that definitely wasn't his history.
Right.
He was a conservative Democrat. And he was a white guy. That's why Obama picked him. But this is nuts that they've got nothing. They're just scratching at the post for nothing.
because this is like a sacrificial lamb pick. This is the pick you put up there to get crushed, and then so you keep your better candidates ready for the next cycle. It's also a trick pick, because this guy's not Minnesota nice. He's Minnesota nuts.
Yeah.
They keep saying this guy's, oh, this Midwestern white value. Come on, this guy's a lunatic. Sanctuary cities, driver's license for illegals, sanctuary cities for sex changes for children. And if you don't want the sex change for your kid, then the state will come take your kid away from you. This guy put tampons in boys' bathrooms.
So
Republicans are terrified of tampons. Why are they terrified of tampons?
they're terrified of Tim Walz.
And nobody is coming to take your children away if you don't get them sex changes. Like, what on earth are they talking about?
No, that's my thing, though. Is we all know that Jesse Waters is terrified of vaginas. That's a fact. This whole, if you vote for a woman, then you become a woman. Why are you so scared of vaginas, Jesse? What's going on?
So weird. It is so weird.
He's a creepy guy. But, God, he is such a creepy guy. They're all so weird. But here's the thing, is even, it's all bullshit, first off, but the driver's license for immigrants and sex changes and they're going to take your kid away. Do you think if you're a voter, an independent voter or a swing voter, and you hear this shit, you're not sitting there going, what the fuck are they talking about? Do you think this resonates? All this resonates with is the Fox base, they're gonna believe whatever bullshit he tells them anyway. They got nothing. They're just making shit up, and none of it's sticking. Make up something good. He had sex with a porn star and then paid her off to influence an... Oh shit, we can't do that one.
God, what is wrong with these people?
They're
really working really hard to try to find something.
Yeah. He raped a reporter and... No, we can't do that one either. Let's see. He has 34 felony counts of business... Oh no, we can't do that one either.
Maybe we just catch him on tape saying to grab women by the... Oh, well, nope, can't do that one.
Can't do that. Shit.
Oh.
They got nothing. Yeah. They got nothing. Oh, man. Yeah, this goes on and on. I'm not even going to watch the rest of it, but it's just like, Jesus, they got nothing. It's just sad. It's just so sad. So sad, it's funny.